Joining me now is Kristen Welker from NBC's Meet the Press. Kristen, good morning.
Hi, Christy. Good morning to you.
Protests over the Israel-Hamas war continue at universities across the country. They're growing. Here in Atlanta, we have seen students and faculty participate in demonstrations on the Emory University campus over the last several days. Has the Biden administration said anything about these demonstrations and protests? I mean, the president continued the White House Correspondents' Dinner last night, even with protesters outside.
That's right. Look, they have condemned some of the anti-Semitism that we have seen on these college campuses. They have also reaffirmed people's right to peacefully protest. The question becomes, what more can the Biden administration do? We know that Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson visited Columbia University this week and said that the National Guard should be called in if things continue to escalate. Now, that's ultimately going to be a decision for the governors of each state to make. But look, as you point out, we are seeing these protests spread. 200 people arrested alone just yesterday. So we anticipate we'll hear from President Biden about this at some point this week, but it does underscore the bigger problem for him. The fact that the crisis in the Middle East continues to be politically incredibly challenging, in addition to being a humanitarian crisis. The Biden administration has really tried to turn up the pressure on Prime Minister Netanyahu to do more to mitigate civilian casualties and to deal with the humanitarian crisis. And until that happens, this is going to continue to be something that is a real challenge for the current commander-in-chief, that opens him up to criticism from all sorts of people all across the country.
Former President Donald Trump's hush money trial continues this week, and at the same time, just days ago, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments on whether Trump could claim presidential immunity in a separate case. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, one of your guests this week, shared his thoughts with you on presidential immunity.
He did, Christy. I pressed him on the fact that in 2021, he effectively said, in the wake of January 6th, in the wake of Trump's second impeachment trial, that we should leave this up to the courts and that no one is immune from the law. So I asked him, I really pressed him over and over again if he stood by those comments. Ultimately, he said, yes, he does. But he said, look, it's going to be up to the Supreme Court to decide what happens next. His comments were incredibly striking because they underscore the fact that there continues to be this rift inside the Republican Party, this struggle with Republicans who are critical of Trump and his actions. And yet, of course, McConnell is someone who has endorsed former President Trump. I pressed him if he's going to vote for him. He didn't say explicitly he would. He instead said he stands by his endorsement of the president. So really interesting things politically speaking, and it speaks to some of the vulnerabilities that Trump faces as we get closer to Election Day, Christy.
And a finesse of wording. Kristen, thank you so much. Meet the Press airs at 10 right after 11 Alive Weekend Morning News.